everyone, how are you today? Today we are going to read this book, Up in the Leaves. Did you see the first page? It is also about leaves. So many leaves I can see. This book is written by Shira Boss and illustrated by Jamie Christoph. Are you excited, just like me, to see what is inside the story? Let's read together. Bob lived in the big city. The city was very crowded. It was crowded with buildings stacked side by side. It was crowded with strangers packed onto trains. It was crowded with trucks honking their horns. Bob didn't like all the rushing around, the eyes of so many people, all those feet on the ground. He climbed up lampposts. He snuck onto his building's rope. He scaled the walls of the castle in the park. At school, the hallways were narrow. The ceilings were low. The desks were cramped. The bell rang and Bob dashed to the Central Park. The park was cool, green, calm. People walked slowly or sat on the ground. Trees waved their branches in the air, inviting him to come up. He lifted himself onto a tree limb. He pulled up to another and then to the next. The bark made a path. The leaves made a hideaway. Up and up, he explored the trees, the fluffy pink cherry tree, the sticky poky pine. He slipped through the door of a wide beech. He stepped up the staircase of a tall oak. Each tree was its own world, every limb an adventure. He could see buildings and the people down below, so small, but nobody could see him. This was his own secret spot. He decided to stay. Bob scavenged wood and rope from the dumpsters. Tap, 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 he hammered. Whoosh, 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 he sawed. Loop, 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 he knotted. Every day after school, Bob's treehouse was waiting. He hugged the tree's trunk and scampered straight up. The city roar, clang, bang, fell away. He read books in the hush and shared peanuts with the squirrels. He listened to the whir of the dragonfly, the creaking of the wood, the flapping of the birds. One day, his treehouse was gone. The squirrels had their nests, the birds had their roosts, but the little boy no longer had a place of his own. Bob started all over. Tap, tap, whoosh, whoosh, loop, loop. His new tree house was even bigger and better hidden. When rain pelted down and the wind bent the branches, Bob's tree house rocked and swayed. He was a sailor on a ship at sea. But fall came, the leaves fell, the tree house was no longer a secret. Again it was taken away. He no longer had a sheep in the sky. There was nothing to do except try again. Up went a platform, up went walls, up went milk crates for tables and chairs. He let down a rope, and up went some friends. Bob stayed after sunset and mapped twinkling stars. He even spotted planets. He became an astronaut, navigating the cosmos. The seasons went on, and so did the tree houses. Each one was taken down, but Bob kept building. Bob's mother worried. You will be grown up soon. You can't stay up in trees. She wanted him to go to work like everyone else. But that wasn't for him. Shoulder to shoulder, downtown, the traffic, the concrete, the air thick with smog. Instead, he built the biggest treehouse of all, 5 levels and a bridge. Bob was proud. Wow, I really like this treehouse. It's so big. It's so massive. You guys like it? Just like me? He loved drifting to sleep, smuggled under the canopy of leaves. One morning, Bob woke up and heard voices far below. We know you are up there, they yelled. Come down. Sadly, he descended like a fluttering leaf. His adventure was over. He was stuck on the ground. But then, something lucky. The man in charge of the park watched Bob come down. He climbed like a squirrel, sure footed and at ease. Come work in the park, the man said to Bob, and take care of the trees. A job in the trees? I would love to work here, Bob said. Every day, Bob walked to work in the park. With his new ropes and saddle, he could climb up any tree, even the biggest. He swung all over the branches, up and across. From limb to limb, he snipped, he sword, and he kept the trees healthy. He stuck to his promise not to build any more tree houses in the park. But sometimes at night, he slipped out of bed and walked softly through the city, back to his trees. Guys, do you see the real Bob? Yes, he is the real Bob, sitting on his tree. Bob Redman built 12 tree houses in New York City's Central Park from the time he was 13 until he was 21. His friend helped him salvage building materials and construct the hideaways. He crafted each tree house to have a special view, a balcony overlooking the tree canopy, or a leafy window framing the city skyline. He named them after the stars. Studying the night sky was one of his favorite things to do in the magical tree houses. Now Bob lives in an apartment near the park. Trees covered the roof and it has skylights so he can gaze at the moon and stars. Still an arborist, Bob takes care of the trees all over the city. He escapes high into the branches just like when he built his tree houses. I went straight up, he says. The higher the better. So only squirrels and birds could go higher. Hope you like the book as much as I do. Here's something about Sira Boss and the illustrator, Jamie Christoph. The end.